Hi, in this video we're going to talk about descriptive writing. When we describe something, it's like painting a picture with words. We want the reader to see what we see and experience what we experience. So description paints a picture of a person, place, or object. And our goal is to create a vivid image in the mind of the reader so that the reader can really see what you describe. Description is really fun. It allows for artistic freedom. It's your chance to be creative. Here are some strategies for writing descriptive paragraphs. The first one is to brainstorm. Get some ideas down on paper. Don't even spend time evaluating your ideas. Just get some ideas down on paper to start to try to put together a description. Use your senses. Think about all the senses, not just what you see, but also what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, and what you feel. All of those senses can be an important part of a description. Try to use clear and concise language. Use vivid language. A great tool to try is a thesaurus, where you can find similar words or words that may be a little bit more precise but have the same meaning. For example, you could use the word stallion instead of horse. Consider, what were you thinking and feeling when you saw the object or when you were at a certain place that you're describing? Those feelings can help you set the mood for the reader. Another good strategy is to use figurative language. Can you use a simile or a metaphor or personify an object to make your description more impactful? There are lots of different ways to organize a descriptive paragraph. Of course, we want to use good paragraph organization, so we are going to start with a topic sentence, then have body sentences and conclude with a concluding sentence. There are different ways that you can organize the paragraph. You could describe an object from top to bottom, or describe a scene from afar and then close up. Describe a scene as you're walking through it, imagining that you're walking through it, for example. And you can use transitions that indicate location in space, spatial words like above, behind, below, beside, on top, next to, and so on. So those are a lot of strategies to help you organize your descriptive paragraph. And a great way to get started is to read descriptions for inspiration. Get a feel for a descriptive language. Get a sense of what the possibilities are. We're going to look at a couple of different examples, and both are from Rosa Montero's novel, Beautiful and Dark. So as we look at these two examples of description, think about the language that she uses. What are the strategies that she employs? What kinds of details does she include? How does she use figurative language to further her description? Does she use similes, metaphors? Notice how she appeals to multiple senses, not just sight, but also hearing and smell and feeling, and will also focus on the overall impression conveyed by the author. The two paragraphs that we're going to look at are both descriptions of a city. However, they both convey a very different overall impression. So let's start with this first example. It was the first time I saw a city so busy, bewildering, and brilliant. It didn't seem real. It was an open-air fair, intoxicatingly golden. The sidewalks were adorned with stone baskets full of natural flowers, and the store windows followed one after the other, replete with indescribable treasures and bursting with lights. Then there were the people, all those men and women who came and went, with rustling packages in their hands, rustling smiles, rustling suits, all of them rustling from the crowns of their heads to the tips of their fine shoes, as if they were new, people making a debut, not a thing about them worn out. All of them, everybody, even though there were many of them, lived in that marvelous city and undoubtedly had shiny new houses and were happy. So here we clearly have a very positive experience. Everything is shiny and new. So how does the author achieve that description? Well, we have some figurative language. She says that the city was an open-air fair, so we've got a simile. She uses really precise language, such as the word bursting, bursting with lights, and appeals to multiple senses. So here we have, oops, let's go back to that paragraph. Here we have the word rustling. Rustling packages, rustling smiles, rustling suits, all of them rustling from the crowns of their heads to the tips of their fine shoes. So there we can hear the sound that's made by their suits. So we have a really well-developed description. Let's look at another description of the same city, a different part of the same city, also from the same novel, and we'll see that it really conveys a very different overall impression. We crossed the sidewalk and turned at the next corner. The echo of our footsteps was deafening in the silence. It started to drizzle. The street was a dark tunnel. The shadows swayed next to the scarce, weak streetlights. The night extended over the world like a huge spider web. In some corner, the spider would lie in wait, with hairy legs, hungry and ready for us. We were walking more and more quickly. Amanda went on with her head down as if ready to charge. I was running a little and panting, and my chest was weighing down on me. The damp, cold air entered my lungs painfully, as if a long nail were driving into my side. The streetlights made the wet ground shine once in a while. It was a somber reflection, as if the thick, oily shadows were melting the asphalt. So here we have, a very dark part of the city. It's dreary. It's a little scary. The girl who's narrating feels like, there could be a spider waiting for them because the night is like a huge spider web. So what kinds of strategies does the author use here? Well, she certainly appeals to more than one sense. Oops, I lost it again. Let me go back to that paragraph. She appeals to more than one sense. She talks about the echo of our footsteps was deafening in the silence. So there we have the sense of hearing. The street was a dark tunnel. There we have use of figurative language. The night extended over the world like a huge spider web. Again, another example of figurative language. She also includes the sense of feeling. My chest was weighing down on me. The damp, cold air entered my lungs painfully, as if a long nail were driving into my side. So there she's appealing to the sense of feel, how the air feels, how her chest is weighing down on her, and also uses more figurative language. So we can see from these examples that we have really a very, kind of negative experience in this part of the city, which contrasts starkly with the other paragraph, which was so positive. So these examples can give us inspiration for writing our own descriptive paragraphs. So let's conclude by talking about the uses of descriptive writing. Besides fiction and creative writing, we can also use descriptive writing for journalism, for technical writing, as well as for scientific observation. So it really has many applications. But the best part of descriptive writing is that it allows for us to be creative and have fun with language and have fun with words.